How long was the USN challenge? Like 6 weeks. Or 12 weeks.
The cost documentation of the property of the employer.
So after the exam,
Employer. All right.
good. Go and drink.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to do 34. Sorry, Pam.
Oh, okay, this one.
Okay. But I'll just do
This is the one, but it's actually also quite quick because it's easy stuff. Okay.
You were
waiting for
in
lots
terms
of
of getting an
things.
opinion. Okay. Okay. Was developed and tested using 12 developing a model.
Yeah.
Your clients. Okay. 12 months. Right. Not even a good. In other words, you violated what? That's not a good enough rate. If you're going to use a model to
But they work question marks.
about 4 or 5 years,
Then
12 months
the work guys were saying like accounting was why is he like buying this? Why are they buying this? So I mean to come out and saying like yes the guys were
Program. Remember, because if you're testing a model,
so there's two things. One is
12 months doesn't even cover one full cycle, one economic cycle even, does it? Okay, so the answer would be
so it's the top 40 60. From that perspective, even if your benchmark is the top 40 or the Swix, Swix is the, obviously take out the offshore the part mark. Then if you have 2% and if you had 2% start-off and start-off was 4%, then you were still underweight. So you actually still did better than the benchmark. So that's the one way that guys have held it. On Tonguat as well, so that's an interesting question. That's just manipulation. I mean, like if
a research analyst
you're going to, it's very difficult to do that in-depth research on one single company, especially if it's a very small holding like Tonguat. But yeah, I mean that is heavy research. Like I've been in a research.
Sandra is an analyst. He spent
Windy reports.
He recommends his clients.
It's so intense. And then the question is, when you go, that's a very different type of thing than just normal, like whether it's a good hold or just sell out or whatever. Yeah, I would say that's more a short thesis. So if you believe that there's right away you can
write a report
when it comes to whether the company is meeting. Like there's certain signs that you can say, okay, this might be a short, okay, then it's not good, and then you start to delve in like proper deep. But then the research is the short. You're not trying to find the earnings growth for the company. You're trying to find that, this guy committed fraud, he did this, he's saying this asset value is not that. I mean, just read some of the stuff the guys write on Tesla. Like the amount of research the guys do on that thing is insane. Like your reports they file with the California or whatever, and then they say this is the value, and they work out what the square meters is, how much it costs. It's like completely different thing to you. That's a Kenny Cost type of way. That's the guy that shorted Enron. Well, he also shorted Grubhub recently. I don't know if you guys know Grubhub. That's like similar to Mr. Delivery in the States. And he made a lot of money from that. And it's a lot. That's a lot of research. So it's very interesting. Okay. That rely on previous auditors. Yeah. They just, the one partner goes to the other. Anyway, but yeah, listen, I don't know. It's unfortunately you have to kind of rely on, you have to try and rely on some of the stuff, and you hope that the guys will pick up with this. And that's also why. Shall we start? Okay. Okay. 35. Study session 9. Okay, so this one is, it's not particularly difficult. We're going to go through weighted average cost of capital in this one, which is going to be a very important segment when we come to free cash as a firm. Have you guys done WACC yet? Or wait, WACC. Okay. The only difference this time is they're probably going to put in preference shares. Slightly different, but guys, preference shares is exactly like equity when it comes to weighted average cost of capital. The only difference is you don't use cost of it. You don't use the capping model tools. They just give you the percentage, so it's not better. Okay. Holding period return. Do you guys know how to calculate that? Okay. And all of that divided by price beginning, that's your holding period return. It's not a CAGR, it's not an annualized number, just for the period that you held it. So it can be for 5 days, it can be for 20 days. Okay, that's fine. Okay, holding period. Okay, important to analyze it. Not use 360 days like the LIBOR convention. So that's not any big difference. And obviously, 1 plus I to the power of 2 is going for holding period minus 1. So that's, once again, that should be quite simple for you. If it's in months, and obviously instead of 365, you use 12. 12 divided by n is the amount of months that you have. Okay. Now, expected holding period return. So that's a little bit different. So that's obviously what you expect to get from the underlying. What is it made up of? There's two components to it. There's the capital appreciation and there is the dividends. Okay, those two. When a company goes ex-div, it tends to fall a bit, but remember, if you're working out, you always report capital return. You report this is how much your portfolio grew, because if they got the dividend, obviously that's part of the portfolio, the cash went up. Rate of return or required return, that is how much, or the minimum level that you require. There's a variety of ways that you work that out. Obviously, if you're working it out from for equity, the preferred way to do it is the cost of equity or the capping model. It's worked by the capital pricing model, and that's what's required for holding risk for that specific shares in your portfolio. Now remember, if it's debt, there's a different calculation that you're going to use. It's just, just for required rate of return. If equity or you use the capital asset pricing model. If it's then it's required return on debt, which is the cost. And obviously there's also a cost of a preference share. And when you work out the weighted average cost of capital, you're going to work out after tax all those variety of things and weight it according to how much of the total capital each segment of that. We're going to go through that in a few minutes. So if your investment is higher than what the investment will give you, that investment, in your opinion, is overvalued. If what the investment will give you, that investment is undervalued. Does it make sense? The investment is going to give you more, undervalued you on the buy. It's not particularly difficult. Kind of went through it. If you get 8% and you expected 6, you have 2% alpha, and vice versa. Now, expected return estimates from intrinsic value estimates. In the event that the asset is mispriced, several outcomes are possible. Assume that the investor believes that the asset is 20% undervalued. The following outcomes either the increase, blah blah blah. It's the reason why if you value something at 100 rands and it's you value your estimated value of the intrinsic value is 100 rands per share, 80 rands per share. The fact of the matter is that 80 rand share price can go down to 60. There's nothing that's compelling you to go back to 100. But your assumption is over time, and everybody's assumption, that's a fundamental analyst assumption, is over time the market will realize what the true value is and it will converge towards that. Okay, it can take a long time before that happens. That's where the saying comes, the market can stay rational longer than you can stay solvent. Okay. That's why you don't leverage up too much. Because I can tell you from personal experience, if you've got a CFD, you don't have enough cash in your portfolio, and you're in a meeting, there's going to be a margin call. And it has happened to me, and it's not nice. Okay, it's not nice. Especially if you have to have approval to do when that thing comes. Okay. Okay, so what that essentially says is that you're valuing this share as of today. Okay. Now, this is what we're talking about. The first one is if it moves from the current price to your price. So the current market value to your estimated value of the intrinsic value. So let's say, once again, the 100 that you estimated, and it's currently at 80. But you also calculate the return on this asset per annum. So it should be 15%, because the share should grow 15%, plus the convergence. So there's two components to it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what they're talking about. Two components. That's today. You estimate the value to be 70 today. It's currently trading at 56 today. It should grow normally by 15% per annum anyway. So after a year, so firstly, as of today, it is $14. I believe it's going to converge to that, which is 25%. But if you hold it for a year, so assuming that the investor expects the price of 56 to converge to the value of share over a year period, then the investor would earn, so that's 15% that you've worked out here, and you probably worked it out using the capital asset pricing model. What is going to 15 plus? That's 17 minus 56 divided by 56. It's as easy as that. If you've got 2 years and you take the 15%, you compound it by 2 years, and you add the 25% from the convergence as well. Okay, so everybody understand that. That just basically tells you what it technically should give you. 2 years. This is essentially, secondly, the market, the risks are that they're wrong, and secondly, even if the price is right, it might not converge over the time horizon. So obviously, as I say, maybe because it is $56, doesn't mean it's going to go to 70, it can still go down. Maybe there's just one really big seller that needs to get out of. Discount rate loss. Essentially what it is that's the percentage that you're going to discount cash flows over any time period. So if it's a 10% discount, obviously you're going to take your future cash flows, you're going to discount that by 10%. So you're not going to take, if you think about it, you're not going to invest in. So let's take South Africa, for example. So South Africa, you can look at JIVE 6.5. Money market will probably give you roughly say that's it. So if you can invest in a money market account and that gives you 6.5 to 7.5%, why would you invest in a share that's more risky, more volatile, and they will only give you 7% return or expected return? You're not going to do it. So your discount rate for that type of investment should be high. So that's depending on what type of investment you're going to do. So how different to the market discount rate, discount rate. So what it just basically says here is you can actually infer the discount rate that the market is using for a specific investment. And you can use that for that particular investment, as well as the current price. Did you guys do that in corporate finance last year? So internal rate of return, all that basically means is using the cash flows of the investment. So invest now, and there's cash flows coming through over the future. Using Solver, if you do it on Excel, using Solver, or you can just use the IRR formula on Excel. Basically, what discount rate should be used to get to a NPV of 0. That's basically what net present value of 0. Okay. So that's one way. The other way that's simple when you want to work out an IRR of an investment is you can use the the dividend yield plus the expected dividend growth. So dividend yield is 9%, and there are actually shares on the JC that has a 9% yield, plus your expected dividend yield, maybe that's 3%, maybe that's 3%, maybe that's 5%. That'll give you your internal rate of return for that specific investment. So that's a very quick shorthand, or that's a shorthand for you to the use of our very short, quite a basic way to work out what is the IRR for specific and easy way as well. Okay, moving on to the equity risk premium. Now we're going to go into these type of covariance. I don't think we're going to covariance or anything like that, but your equity risk premium. This is very important. You can change the terminology in the exam. If they say the market is expected to return 10%, that is not your equity risk premium. Equity risk premium is what the market is expected to return minus your risk-free rate. That is extremely important. If you mix that up in the exam, they love to put both answers. So if you miscalculate it, it's the answer. They just like it. So equity risk premium is important, the difference between what the broad market is giving you minus your risk-free rate. Okay. That's the difference between the price of equity and expected. So very important. Equity as a whole for the broad market. Equity risk. That is the same as the capping model with a beta of 1. Let me repeat that quickly. Let me just maybe do a quick count. Capping is equal to the risk-free rate plus beta times the equity risk. Risk-free rate, that's usually at a govie. Some guys use a 10-year sovereign bond of the country. Some guys use a 10-year, some guys use 3 months, depends on who you are. Equity risk premium. We already said what the equity risk premium is. That's what the expected return the whole minus your risk-free rate. Okay. Now, your beta tells you how that's, so if you're going to work out your required rate of return for a specific share, specific equity investment. Okay. That share co-varies with the market, either more or less with the market. Okay, now let me explain. Okay, so there's two components to that. The one is the share in unlevered form. Unlevered means there's no debt on the balance sheet. Co-varies with the market, and levered, it co-varies with the market in a certain way. Now what happens is, if a share has no debt, okay, then it's quite easy. But the reason why the leverage is important is if you think about, this is how it was explained to me when right? So that's a pizza. Okay. Now think about equity as all the pepperoni on the pizza. Okay. If okay, obviously that's where all the taste is going to be. So from an equity investor, you're the equity guy. You're going to get all the pepperoni. Okay. Now the thing is, debt doesn't co-vary with the market because that also depends on if it's in financial stress. But we're not going to go into that yet. If the share is appropriately, if the balance sheet is appropriately financed, in other words, the guys can manage their debt and everything, but it has got a lot of debt on the balance sheet, then what will happen is equity will go up massively up and down. Whereas if there's no debt on the balance sheet, that equity will not go up and down as much as the market. And the reason for that is it's got to do with the enterprise value of the company. Enterprise value of the company is equal to market value of your equity plus the market value of your preference shares plus the market value of your debt minus your cash and cash equivalents. So that is your enterprise value. Your enterprise value, that multiple, your EV to EBITDA, enterprise value to EBITDA, that tends to stay within a certain range. But now remember, if your enterprise value is billion and your debt is 4 billion and your EV to EBITDA multiple can change by 1, let's say your EV to EBITDA multiple is 5 and go up 1 to 2 up or down. So it can range from 3 to 7 basically. Then if that happens, I mean, you can almost get completely wiped out on the downside as an equity investor because of the fact that it's so volatile from that perspective. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? The pizza is the enterprise value. This entire thing is the EV. Sorry, I should. Okay, so let me just do this quickly. This is your EV to EBITDA. You know what EBITDA is? The enterprise value to earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation. That's the average. So that's 5. That's 7. That's 3. The company goes within that balance. Okay. After debt, let's say there's no cash on the balance sheet. The cash is 0, and let's say there's no preference shares. Let's say the debt is equal to, let's make it 8 billion. Let's say the equity, market value of equity, is equal to 2 billion. Your EBITDA is equal to, let's call it 2 billion. Correct. Your EV to EBITDA here is 5. Because you can see this, how much is 2? So that's 10. Divided by 2, you can get 2. So EV to EBITDA is equal to 5. When your EV to EBITDA drops to 4, completely, you are completely difficult. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm just trying to, I just want to take this back to beta because we're going to unlever and relever beta quite quickly. I just wanted to join the two theories or the concepts. Because your beta is how the share goes. If the share has got, if that specific company has got a lot of debt, then the beta will be a lot higher than it would be more leverage, the higher the beta would be, given the fact that if it wasn't levered, it would be much lower. Okay, we'll get to that a bit later. I just want to give you guys the concept around that. Okay, so just jumping back to equity risk premium, when you want to estimate that, you select your equity index, let's say the S&P 500, you select a time period, let's say the past 10 years, calculate the average return, whatever, 8%, 9%, for 10% for the S&P, not excluding last year's massive return, and then you select the risk-free proxy, so that'll be the 10-year US government bond, which is, I don't know, last 5 years is probably in the region of about 2.5%, and you deduct that and then I'll give you the. So it's not that difficult, but remember you can't just take one year, you have to take a time series for that. So the capping model, so the equation just the risk premium of the market to take into account specific risk attached to the specific share. Basically what you have, you've got two types of risks. You've got systematic and unsystematic risk. So you have the market risk, which is the entire market goes up or down, and then you've got idiosyncratic risk or stock-specific risk, and that's attached to your beta factor. And that's how you take into account for that. So you have the market, which is basically if beta is 1, and then obviously beta adjusts for the stock-specific risk. Those are the two. What you can diversify away is idiosyncratic risk, and that's why you don't only own one share, you own a variety of shares, because that's how you diversify away. And there's research that says I can't remember, at 21 or 31 investments, you've optimally diversified your portfolio. So you don't need a 1,000 share portfolio, you can only have a 20 or 30 share portfolio and you've got the optimal. The beta, the higher the risk, the higher the beta, the lower the equity value will be, ceteris paribus. So using the same thing. So because if you increase beta, it increases your discount rate. If you increase your discount rate, your discount increases, obviously your discount rate increases, which essentially makes your future cash flows lower if you discount it back to present value. That's very important. They can ask you that in an exam. Look at the variety of stuff. If the equity stream goes up, what happens to your value? If your risk-free rate goes up, what happens to your value, etc. Okay. The risk premium discount is a slightly different way of looking at it. I'm actually going to go to that a little bit later. Current expected risk rate plus the equity risk premium. Okay, this equation does not make a beta adjustment for the equity risk premium, but rather add premium discount to develop an overall risk adjustment. So two methods to do that, and once again you're going to add and subtract the liquidity for this company is trading in a very difficult market or trading in a different jurisdiction or whatever. There's a variety of ways that you can just add and subtract the risk premium depending on what you want. So two methods. One is historical estimates. So historically estimate the equity risk premium. It's a broad market index. We kind of went through that already. The past 10 years and you deduct your risk-free rate. So very simple, very easy to do. The thing with equity risk premium to take into account, it tends to be very low in good times and very bad in high times. So here, equity risk premium behaves in a counter-cyclical manner. In good times it is low, in bad times it is high. That's quite important. Okay, another issue to consider is the issue of survivorship rights. That's one of the many things that you're going to go through in alternatives. Another consideration is whether to use geometric or arithmetic mean. Remember that forward-looking estimates. The way that you're going to do that is through Gordon growth model. So you guys would have gone through the Gordon growth model before, but essentially all that you're doing is reverse engineer one of it. You're just changing a few terms in the equation and it's kind of difficult just to remember this formula. So going to next year, B1 divided by the current price. It'll be the growth in the dividends long-term growth, not next year's growth, the long-term growth, that's important. You can't use 1 year's growth because if you have super growth 1 year, then it's going to give you the wrong one. That'll be the 10 year. Disadvantage, forward lookings will change over time. In good times, dividend yields tend to be low. So the reason why the dividend yield is low in good times is because your share price will be a lot higher. In the bad times, your share price is a lot lower. If your dividend is the same, then obviously your dividend yield will be a lot higher. Okay, further disadvantage in this model is the assumption of the single long-term growth rate. And obviously, as we know, that's up for interpretation. It's quite sensitive to that type of thing. Okay, in most economies, growth rate tends to be high initially and then it tapers off. And then obviously things in the decline stage. Okay, so multi-stage models are usually the correct way to do it. And we're going to go through a variety of multi-stage models on Thursday, which will be quite I'm just going to go through it because I want you not to see obviously you have to remember the formula, but the formula itself is not that difficult. I just want to explain it quickly because it's quite easy. So this formula, the Ibbotson-Chen model, it estimates the supply side of the risk premium as follows. So equity risk premium is equal to this entire tricky, but it's just basically the nominal in the equity index. So let me EPS growth. Quick change in your PE ratio. You deduct 1%
on these.
You add your yield.
Both of them represent the they don't put them together as one reading, but
Another way,
again they don't consult. Okay.
Is your return on the index. That's another way to think about it. So let me just maybe phrase it slightly differently. Your index is
You've had a certain period of results of history.
the capital return has got the yield, the dividend. Okay. So the yield they've taken care of. That's this thing here. Okay, so that's the one thing. Then you have the capital return. If you've got one share, just one share, it is trading at 100 rand, got 10 rand earnings. The earnings is going to grow 10%, and the P ratio is 2. Okay.
Look at some of these guys represent
It's
representative.
And
How is it present?
because it's from 10 rand to 11 rand.
How is it present? So, you just tell me the top result.
10 times 11.
Call represents the one.
Well, because that's a real number. If the P ratio goes from 10, let's take it extreme, from 10 to 15. Okay. That change in P is 50%. Okay. So you have 50% in the P ratio, you have 10% in earnings growth, and you have your nominal growth, which is inflation. So you go from real to nominal growth, which is inflation. Add those together, that'll give you the growth in the capital.
So survivorship bias.
Pays dividend, and then obviously you deduct
What are you only showing?
the risk.
The
Does that make
survivors. Alright. And the 10 guys.
And the should be changing P can go up or down. This can mean this as well. That's so. If you're an investor in this thing and it's earning growth, it's not
Not really about.
So yeah, so the main thing is that a lot of times what happens is there's a lot of optimism about a share, and then the earnings fits
You have an answer, let me show you. You want to do it before, and I
in
want
the
you to
Apple
do it.
share hasn't
Well,
necessarily come from the earnings growth, it's come from the
it's good.
regulating the PE ratio. So Apple at a like if you take out the cash in the PE, so you can actually do that. You can work out, okay, what's the PE? It's something like 5.
It's hard.
Like 10 or 13 or something. So it's increased massively over this time.
That's the entire.
The equity rate